And we are happy to be joined now by Bill Trigg, the CEO, and Karen Anatriello, who is the Director of Mission Delivery for Make-A-Wish of Northeast New York. Welcome to you both. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Tom. It's great to be here.
I think most people have certainly heard of Make-A-Wish and seen the Adopt a Wish campaign at the mall in Plattsburgh during the holiday season. But tell us, if you would, what your organization does.
Sure. We grant wishes for kids with life-threatening medical conditions between the ages of 2.5 to 18. We grant 4 different wish types: I wish to go, I wish to be, I wish to meet, or I wish to have. And more recently, kids have wished to give back their wishes. So we serve kids in the 518 area code, and it's our mission to make sure we grant the wish of every eligible child.
So you're based in the Albany area, but you cover all around Albany, all the way up to the North Country and Canadian border.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah, Tom, we're one of 62 chapters of Make-A-Wish across the United States, and our chapter covers the 518 area code. So geographically, we're about the same size as Vermont or New Hampshire, and we grant between 90 and 100 wishes a year within our chapter alone.
And tell us how that works. So who is eligible for the wishes, and how does it happen?
So the eligibility guidelines are set forth by Make-A-Wish America. So we follow those guidelines. Parents can refer their kids at wish.org. A referral can also come from a physician. So if a child is hospitalized and they have a potentially life-threatening medical condition, they can be referred to Make-A-Wish. So once a referral comes to my email through wish.org, I follow up with the family to see if they have any questions. And then we work on identifying volunteer wish granters that live in the child's community. So again, we have about 200 wish granting volunteers that work with the family to help identify the child's heartfelt wish. And that's most important to us. We want to make sure it's their heartfelt wish, no matter how big or how small.
And you must get so many requests. How do you decide which child or teenager gets selected?
So that's an interesting point, Tom, because there is, in our chapter, we're very fortunate that we are able to grant the wish of every eligible child that comes into what we call our wish pipeline. We don't have a backup of kids. We fortunately, thanks to the support of the community and to our board of trustees and others, we were able to raise the money, and all of our funding, by the way, comes from private donations. But we're able to raise all that money every year to be able to grant the 90 to 100 wishes, that we do on an annual basis. So we don't have a backlog at all. And the kids, all they have to do is meet 2 criteria. They have to be between 2.5 and 18 years of age, as Karen said, and they have to have a life-threatening medical condition that's part of that continuum of eligible diagnoses that our national office has established. Once they meet those criteria, we put them in our pipeline, and then we're off and running to make that wish happen.
A lot of your donations are from individuals, and this is the time of year when you really reach out to people and ask them to help.
Yeah.
That's correct.
And you have booths set up at malls from Plattsburgh to Queensbury to Cross Gates,
right.
Trying to get people to help out.
Right. Our Adopt a Wish holiday campaign has 3 focuses. One is our presence at the various malls throughout the capital region and up here at Champlain Center. We also have a lot of schools, elementary, middle schools, and high schools that raise money for us during the campaign. And then we also have a line of businesses, number of businesses that also, sell the paper stars for us at their places of business.
And up here, Maplefields in Malone, also businesses,
right.
Mike's
exactly.
and Northwoods in Lake Placid. How does it work? Folks buy a star, a paper star, and do they get to choose a child and what their wish is? How does it work?
Sure. We have several different wish children or ambassadors represented. So they, we've got Gianna, who's from Esperance, who wished for a seizure response dog. And then up here in the North Country, we've got Ben Sprague, who met J.J. Watt. They can pick which wish they prefer, or they could buy all the stars.
And so many, I'm sure, so many of the wishes are the trips to Disney World, the getting to meet J.J. Watt,
right.
The football star with the Houston Texans. But then some of the wishes aren't for what you might think, that dream fantasy trip or meeting a superhero. It's for a service dog, like in Gianna's case. So
right.
This past year, it was a year of firsts for us in 3 ways. We granted a wish, our first wish for a boy that wanted to meet Pope Francis in Rome, which happened in September of 2016. Then we granted a wish for a girl from Clifton Park, New York, 9-year-old who wanted to meet President Obama, and had the opportunity to do that in the Oval Office on January 18th, literally the day before he left office, which was a great wish. He did an awesome job with that. We granted a wish for a teenage boy from Greenwich who wanted to go to the Nike World Headquarters in Portland, Oregon, and meet his favorite shoe designer, Tinker Hatfield, and so that was an exciting year of wish firsts.
So for those that think, well, there must be limits on how far they'll go and where they'll take kids, I guess you're proving them wrong.
Well, I mean, there's very few restrictions that we have on wishes. But when it comes, if it's a reasonable kind of wish, I mean, our commitment is to grant the heartfelt wish of that child or teenager, and even if it's going to be fairly expensive, we will make it happen. We did a wish for a teenage girl several years ago who was cystic fibrosis, who wanted to go to the 2012 Summer Olympics to see the swimming competitions because she was a competitive swimmer herself, but because of her cystic fibrosis, would not be able to ever compete in the Olympics. So we made that wish happen. It was fairly expensive, but we were able to bring together several donors to make that happen.
So you sent her to London to
We sent her to
see
London
the
and her family to see for the opening ceremonies and then for the swimming competitions. And that was her heartfelt wish. And so we are committed to making that heartfelt wish come true.
What does this mean to the families to have these wishes granted, to be able to have these experiences, both for the children and for the family members?
I think it just gives them hope. It gives them a break from treatment. It gives them time to be a family. It gives them something to look forward to. It gives them so many countless things that we truly are so grateful to see firsthand. I think that's a gift to all of us that work at Make-A-Wish. To see the smiles on the kids' faces. I mean, just yesterday when we granted that wish, I mean, it was the happiest I've ever seen her. And that right there is just so amazing. And to receive a text from her caregiver last night just saying, she's still on cloud 9, this made her spirit. But I think what we hear the most, it's when it's a travel wish, families have time to be a family, reconnect, and have a week where they're not worried about going to the hospital, having treatments, feeling ill. I think those for us, are the ones that stick with us.
Are you always looking for volunteers?
Absolutely.
New volunteers?
Yes.
Yep, we have wish granting volunteers, we have event volunteers, we have folks that run the booths in the mall. So, I mean, my gosh, the amount of volunteers that we have, they're truly amazing and so dedicated to Make-A-Wish.
And if people are interested and would like to volunteer, how can they do that?
Sure, just reach out through neny.wish.org and click on volunteer, and they can know a little bit more about different options they might have.
And much the same for referrals. If folks are watching and they know of a child, their own child, and they would like to request a wish, how do they do that?
Same thing, just go to neny.wish.org and click on refer. And the referral will come right to my email, and I can follow up with the parents or the guardians and get to know a little bit more about that child's medical condition.
And I think some people may have always had this impression that it has to be for children who are losing their battle with whatever illness or medical condition they're facing, and that this is near the end of that fight.
Right.
No, that's not true anymore. I mean, when Make-A-Wish was established down in Phoenix, Arizona back in 1980, that was the case, and it was really started as a way to grant a wish for a child, teenager that had a terminal illness. But with the advances in pediatric medical science over the years, it was back in the early 2000s that Make-A-Wish changed its mission statement to say that we grant the wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions. And actually, we're going through another iteration of that now, where I think it's going to be referred to as children who are critically ill. But the point being is that not all of our kids survive. In fact, we know based on our most recent analysis of our records within the Northeast New York chapter, that about 80% of the kids that we serve have served over the last 30 years, almost 1,800 wishes now. Approximately 80% of them are alive and well today. So we've always talked about a Make-A-Wish experience being part of the medicine to help the kids get better. And now there is groundbreaking research that's being done, and you'll hear more about this in 2018, that is now proving conclusively that a Make-A-Wish experience, and this is the medical community saying this, really it makes a significant difference to the point that it needs to be considered as part of the treatment regimen for a child or teenager with a life-threatening medical condition. So that's huge for us, and we're very excited about that research.